a special Mother's Day episode of Thrive. We celebrate the unsung heroes of our lives, mothers. Being a mom is more than just a job, it's a relentless 25-hour commitment.
From the moment that our children are born, our hearts and hands are full, and there's no off switch. But amidst the chaos and challenges, there's an unspoken beauty, a journey of self discovery, resilience, and unconditional love.
Today, we're honored to have a candid conversation with these remarkable women of God, exploring the joys, struggles, and everything in between that comes in with the territory of motherhood. I'm Naty.
I'm Veda,
And
and
we
we
are
are
here
here
to
to
thrive.
thrive. Welcome back to Thrive, and a happy Mother's Day to all the incredible moms out there. Today, we're joined by two mothers who understand the profound journey of motherhood firsthand. Let's dive right in and meet our guests. Cindy and Emily, thank you for coming to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes.
All righty, let's kick things right in. Can each of you share how many kids you have and what are their ages? Go ahead, Cindy. Let's start with
Okay.
you.
I have 4 girls, 22, 20, 17, and 12.
How about you, Emily?
Awesome. I also have 4 girls, but then I also have 3 boys. So we have 7 altogether. The oldest one is 14, then 13, 11. My other daughter just turned 10 yesterday. So 14, 13, 11, 10, 8, 6, and 3.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't think I forgot anybody. I think I got them all.
I just have a 3-year-old going on 35.
Well, I'm the mother of 2 adults, boy and a girl, and I have a son-in-law and a daughter-in-law. And we have, my husband and I have 5 grandsons.
Hmm.
Yeah, everybody's aware with it. Could you send me the picture?
I'm here. You happy?
Yeah, she's shy of the camera. So,
Motherhood,
yes,
Mm.
full of surprises.
full of surprises, right? What's
Yes.
the most unexpected thing you've learned about yourself since becoming a mother? We'll start with Emily.
Well, I really thought like long and hard on this question because I thought surely there's something like really profound in there, but no. I would say the most surprising thing for me was just like how much I love being a boy mom. Like growing up, I was always very, very girly stuff, like baby dolls, always wanted to wear dresses, heels, the whole girly thing. And I just have just really, really enjoyed having boys and like doing all the stuff that they enjoy that's totally different than what I enjoy. This year at Christmas, we were walking down the toy aisle trying to pick out stuff for all the kids. And it made me so sad because my youngest son is 8. So we're like right on the verge of moving out of like all the Ninja Turtles and Batman and all that. And I was just so sad. So I would say that was probably like realizing that side of my personality was probably the biggest surprise to me.
Hmm.
Yeah, because you realize they're growing up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're getting big and they're turning into like big boys and grown men and not babies.
What about you,
Okay.
Cindy?
So the most surprising thing you said? The most surprising thing? How much my kids teach me about me,
That's good.
Yes.
about my character, and I don't want to repeat the same mistakes my parents made. But I've caught myself, growing up, I would say, "Oh, I'm never going to do what my mom did," and I catch me saying something or doing something that my mom did that I hated.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
So I think that's really just teaching about who I am as a person and as a mom, as a believer, as all those things. It's just, I think that was the biggest thing for me.
That's cool.
Because I thought I was going to be a totally different person, a totally different mom like my mom. And I hear my mom coming out of my mouth so many times. It's so scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yes. So that's a big for me. The other thing I thought that as and although I'm still very early, that at some point I would catch up with sleep. Apparently that doesn't happen. I'm sorry. I'm talking about my delusion. I thought eventually I was gonna be able to catch some sleep, and apparently that's not part of the vocabulary anymore. So I hope by the time he gets to college, I'll get a good nap.
Maybe.
Mm.
Maybe.
What about you?
um, my children were let me just talk about being a grandmother. It's the best time of my life. I have a daughter, but when she was a senior in high school, I told God, if you love me like you say you do, you won't send me any more girls. So he sent me 5 boys. I love being a boy grandma. Number one, you can dress them much quicker.
Yes.
Okay? Much quicker. Uh, don't have to do with the bows and the lace socks and stuff like that. And they're a little noisy when they get together. They like to wrestle and run and scream and play. But it's okay. I lock myself in my room.
So you're not dealing with them. That's not fair.
I can do that. I'm me, mom. I lock myself in my room.
Yeah.
That's a grandma privilege.
Yes.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that moment.
I worked hard to get to be a grandmother. Okay? I
Tim,
need to
you
have the
earned
hat, the shirt. I earned this. Okay?
Yeah.
I did. Now, the oldest grandson's 18, the youngest is 3.
Mm.
So there's a big gap there. Then we have a 12-year-old and twin boys that are going on 11. So when
Oh.
all of them get together, my house is shaking. Okay?
And
Believe
you're
that.
yeah, and her refrigerator's rated.
My refrigerator, OMG. If you put something in there, you might as well just hide it in your bedroom because when you come back,
Not
it
there.
won't be there.
There's
Your
something.
drink won't be there. Your go box won't be there. You know, like, I thought you brought it home for me. Was your name on it? No.
Yep.
How has your relationship with your kids has evolved as they grow?
Well, I think, at least for me, I like the older stages, the older age right now. I mean, I've got my oldest is 22, and I can have a little bit more meaningful conversation with him. I've never been much of a play on the floor with them mom. I left that up to my husband. My husband was great with playing with the kids, and I just sit there and smile and be like, "This is awesome. Give mama a break here for a little." But I love having conversations with the kids. I love having I love that the fact they feel comfortable coming to me with their broken heart or their problems that they're having, whether at school or at work or whatever. And I think that's another surprising thing for me is how close our relationship is, because I didn't have that with my mom. And so, yeah, I love this part of this age is a well, I say that, and then there's the headache of parenting an adult child.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That's
We'll
a
bring you back.
different podcast.
We're
Adult
having you
children.
on adult children. I'll bring you back.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you when I get to that stage, because
I mean, it's like you said, Mason's he's 3, but he's
3.
an adult. You got kids who are adult that think they still know everything better than you. And so
Right.
anyway,
Yeah.
it's a different thing. But I do love this stage. I love having conversations with them and cutting up with them and being able to just have that mom-daughter relationship that I didn't have with mine.
Emily?
Kind of along the same lines. I've got kids all the way from 3 to 14, so not quite adulthood yet, but I can
Right.
see kind of moving into that with our teenagers. They need less like hands-on and more just guidance at this point. And so I do get to have those times where I'm more just hanging out with them and just enjoying their company instead of micromanaging and teaching every single step of everything they have to do. And we do get to just sit around and talk and discuss things that are actually interesting to me now, not just little kid conversation. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
One of the hardest things I learned having adult children is you got to get off the football field with them and be on the sideline and be a coach. Now, you may be running up and down the sideline, but you got to stay off the field because whatever play they're going to make,
Absolutely,
they're going to make that play.
Right.
That was the hardest thing. Still talking to them like they were children.
Yeah.
And so that transition was the hardest for me.
Yep.
I'm not there yet. I'm just I'm building that relationship. I do get on the floor and play, read together, but I'm building that relationship now.
Right.
So in 10 years we're gonna have a conversation and I can give something about talking.
Well, ladies, let's talk about something that is so important, and that's self-care. We all know self-care is crucial to being a mom. Can you share some of the activities that you do to unwind or to carve out some me time in the midst of all the chaos of being a mother? Cindy.
Okay. I sit out in the driveway a lot.
Okay.
Like if I come back from an errand, I will just sit out here and like sometimes do nothing. Sometimes scroll social media, sometimes listen to music or listen to a preaching or something, whatever.
Yeah.
Just sit out here, and then sometimes I'll get a text. Are you coming in? In a minute. I'm out
But
here.
they're all looking out the window, right?
Yeah.
Is she coming?
Exactly. And I try to go out with other women from church, like, hey, you want to go for a coffee or girls' night or whatever. I think sometimes I just will sit in my room. I mean, they're at that age. My kids are at the age where they're pretty self-reliant, and they don't necessarily want to be with me 24/7. Different story with my dogs, but that's another story. But yeah, so for me, it's a little bit easier at this stage because they're more self-sufficient at this age. But yeah, sometimes I still sit out in the driveway and just give 30 minutes.
What you am?
Honestly, this in the past year probably has really been the first time that I've been able to actually like regularly even think about that. Like I've been in survival mode pretty much, having, baby after baby after baby. I'm just now kind of to the point where they're all a tiny bit self-sufficient, and there's like enough leeway in our life and our schedule for me to do anything. But I try to get up and go to the gym 3-4 times a week if I can, but it requires me getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So, that again is another sacrifice. But when I can get up and go, like I enjoy it, and I'm always so glad that I did. In the past year, I've started reading more. Finally, after I don't even know how many years. That's really about it, honestly. Like we're just so busy. I just don't have a whole lot of extra time. I try to, piece in a few minutes here and there throughout the day to, just go sit and have quiet if I can. But it's a big challenge when you're running this many different schedules and ages and all the things.
I just try to wear him out in the afternoon so that he can go to bed
Yes.
early and I can have an hour to myself, even though I'm exhausted. But I refuse to go to sleep without some quiet time for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Yes.
mine. You don't have that issue. You just close your door.
Yeah, but I have a 3-year-old that's knocking on my door saying, Mima, Mima. And so I have to tell him, the news is on, from 6:30 to 7:30. Mima watches the news. Okay. Then he'll knock again. And
Yep.
I'm like, Will Trent is on, don't bother me. 911 is on, don't bother me. Okay, the rookie's on, don't bother me. And then he'll say, I'll watch it with you. And when he comes in the room, he goes, Peppa Pig, please.
By the way, we're talking about the same 3-year-old.
Uh-huh.
So that's also my break when he's over there. That's a night that I go.
And when he's here, that's my break.
That's yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he
yes.
bounces back and forth.
Yes.
And so yeah, when he's over there, that's when I can, because I can't even do laundry with him in the house. He's have you heard the Velcro baby term? He's a Velcro baby.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he is like I in the last well, I can't say 3 years because before he walked, I was able to shower privately.
Mhm.
But once he learned to walk, I have never had an unsupervised shower
Never,
or an unsupervised use of the bathroom.
never.
And now that he's in potty training, it's like, good job. Nobody had ever praised me going to the bathroom before. So this is a whole new experience, right? I'm so proud of you.
We'll go somewhere and he'll say, bathroom, I gotta go to the bathroom. And we'll take him. And when we get in there, he said, you go.
You have to go. I brought you. So yeah. It is. Well, we all have our share of mom fails. I can't believe I'm going to share this one. And so, care to say a mishap that you had with your kids that you can laugh about it now? I can share mine first because mine is maybe halfway shame.
A miss.
So yeah, well, for example, I Mason was he wasn't even 3 months old. He was baby, and I was in the office. He was I was trying to get him to sleep, and you know the clip for the pacifiers. So I was trying to clip the clip in his pajamas. All of a sudden, all I see is he goes. I'm like, what is wrong with you? I had clipped it to him.
Skin.
And yeah,
Skin.
he couldn't even cry. He couldn't even scream. I felt so bad.
He opened his mouth, but nothing would come out.
He doesn't have a scar, nothing. I was like, and I remember putting oil on it and stuff. It was not like he didn't cut skin or nothing.
Right.
But his little face going, I was like, what is wrong? Yeah, I felt horrible.
He
I felt like the worst mother in the world. It was. Thank you. I felt so horrible.
Oh.
So, do you guys have any funny
I
stuff
got
like that?
Oh, I got that beat. You that was nothing good. Talking about horrible mother. Brooklyn was about 3. Brienne was about 4. And Russ and with 2 kids, you have 2 parents. One parent can take each child, right? And we could do something kind of get occupied. So Russ was playing with Brooklyn. I was playing with Brienne, and I chased Brienne down the hallway. And she ran into her room, and I closed it, and I snuck behind, waiting for her to come out so I could scare her. What I didn't know is that Brooklyn had walked away from Russ and came up behind me. So when I stepped backwards, I fell on her leg and broke it.
Oh my.
And I was like, oh my, I just started going to hysterics, and I started screaming and crying. And my husband's like, no, she's fine. Like, see, he's still around with her leg. And I was like, I was climbing walls, freaking out. And,
wow.
And of course, went to the ER or whatever. And of course, they have to do this whole thing where they separate the whole family and they question.
Yes.
And I'm calling my dad, sobbing, "I'm the worst mom ever." He was like, "Well, what?" He's like, "Cindy, what could you have done differently?" I was like, "Not play with that." I'm like, oh, now they make jokes about it, like, "Oh yeah, be careful, mom's butt might come get you." It's like, but
Yeah, that's a big one right there. That's a big
that
one.
was a big one. And I've done the whole clipping thing. Brienne, I clipped her car seat, and for whatever reason, she didn't have a shirt on or whatever, and it clipped her skin like right on her chest.
Oh, no. Poor babies.
I know.
Better now.
I'm like, why did you do that? I'm like I did it on purpose.
Oh, okay, they are a future therapy client.
I can see why Brienne's now a legal advocate, right?
Trauma.
Was it when your mom clipped your skin in your baby seat? Is that when it started?
That's when it started.
Oh God! How about you, Emily? You must have some stories.
Oh
Oh,
gosh.
she's on top that one.
I don't want to tell them myself. Like,
Hey, we all did. Nothing that will get you in jail.
honestly, not so much things I guess I've done, but just like things my kids have done when they were unsupervised for like 6.5 seconds. Oh
Yes.
my gosh!
Mhm.
Like I could literally write a book, and Natty knows I have an entire photo album on Facebook just dedicated to the crazy stuff my kids have done over the years. Um, when my boys were little bitty, my husband traveled every week. So from like Sunday afternoon to Thursday night, it was just me and a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. There was no like wait until somebody else was there to take a shower or wait until they were taking a nap or whatever, because there was a good chance like they were still going to get up. It didn't matter. I seriously got to where I would take like 3-minute showers because I knew they were going to completely demolish the house. There were times like I would get out of the shower and all the stuffing from like inside our couch cushions was all over the living room. They figured out the zippers and they could unstuff every cushion in less than 3 minutes. My second son, Stanton, was an absolute runner. Like if the inventor of the leash backpack was he invented it for him, I swear. He was the reason. And we lived in this little bitty house. It might as well have been an apartment right on, like we were 10 feet from the street in our little bitty town. We had no yard. And I would try to take the boys out and play like in our carport area. And he would run from me. Well, he would run around our house and down the backyards of the houses that were behind us, which is embarrassing enough when you're like having to leave your infant in the bouncy seat and run after your toddler there. Well, then come to find out, the people that lived in the house right behind us knew my dad. So my dad was talking to him one day and telling him like where I lived and stuff. And I think it was one of his clients. He was like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "I've seen your daughter running behind her house." Nobody in this town, nobody. I was like, so like, what are the odds that our neighbor knows my dad? A toddler straight across his backyard in the diaper. Oh my, Mom of the Year award here. Mom of the Year.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I got a good one. Being a grandparent, I was the church administrator. And after church, people would come in the office. They needed this, they needed that. And when it was time for me to leave, I got in the car and I was on my way home. I get up about 2 or 3 traffic lights from the church and looked in the back seat and said, "Oh my God, I forgot my grandson. And I forgot my godson." Okay, more than one occasion. I go back to the church, pull up under the overhang real quickly, run in the church, and they're in the gym playing basketball like everything's fine. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. Come on. I
I think
forgot
every
my children. I left my children, but I left them at church, so that's not a bad thing.
Left somewhere. That's the
every
place.
has
Right.
If you're going to leave them at church. Yeah. Oh, my.
Yeah, one
Hey,
of the
we
things I've learned.
almost
Go
did
ahead.
that a couple of weeks ago. Like all my kids are in different, classes downstairs, and my 3-year-old sometimes is in class with the 6-year-old, and sometimes they're split, and it always confuses me. Like picking kids up, I'm used to all my kids just running around in the gym and me gathering them up and telling them everybody go to the car. Well, my oldest said, "Mom, I'm going to run to the bathroom, then y'all go into the car. I'll meet you there." Well, he said when he came out of the bathroom, he was walking toward the door, and my 5-year-old's teacher was like, "Hey, Lincoln, I think you forgot a sibling." Taking all the other kids to the car. Pulling her behind him, and he's like, "Mom, you forgot a kid again." Sorry.
You have to do like Home Alone.
Yeah, you have
Counting
to
the
give
kids.
them numbers. You got to give them numbers. Sound off.
Yes.
well, but sometimes that doesn't even work either. My husband got left at church and they counted before they left, but they forgot that they were bringing a family friend. One of the kids brought a friend. So it is kind of like Home Alone where they counted the kid. Yeah,
Yes.
got left, and we've left Brooklyn.
Wow.
Because she was like 17, 18. You
It's worse when they're big enough to like call you out on it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad my boys didn't know because nobody said anything. I just said, "Okay, I'm through. Come on." They didn't know I was halfway home and had to turn around and come back. Okay.
Yeah. If I ever do that, it won't be anytime soon. Velcro baby doesn't let me move.
That is true.
Mm-mm.
That is true because she moved out of bed. He can be in past REM sleep, okay? But if she moves out of bed, he will wake right up.
She called me. It was this week, one day, and it was like 10 a.m. and I'm in the bed awake. And normally you say if he's asleep, you should get up and do some stuff. No, it doesn't work that way. Because the minute I get out of that bed, he's gonna wake up. So I show him in the camera, he is snoring. And she said, "So when do you think he's gonna wake up?" I said, "Oh, watch this." I put in the camera to him, I just get out of the bed.
Yes.
And he had gone to bed like at 3 o'clock in the morning, so he was asleep.
Oh my goodness.
He could just have fallen asleep, and it's an hour, and I go to the bathroom. "Where you going?
Mhm.
What you doing?"
Mhm.
"I'm going."
Yes.
Child.
Yes.
So yeah, yeah, it's gonna be hard for me to leave him.
Yeah. Be a little difficult.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, I guess. Now, the one thing I did have to learn is that I always have to check the bathroom before I use it. I have found monster trucks in there. I'm not supposed to.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
I don't have Legos to stand up, but I have killed so many colors.
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, that's rough right there.
Yes, I used to walk around the house barefooted. I can't do that.
Can't
no
do
more.
it. You will kill yourself. Okay.
And again, it's not Legos. He doesn't have any Legos. It's the cars.
It's the cars, the monster trucks, and the little cars.
Cars are way worse than Legos to me. Like,
Yes.
I would rather step on a Lego.
Okay.
Yeah, they can really challenge you. Let's talk about building a foundation of faith and how vital that is. How have you nurtured a strong spiritual foundation in the lives of your children?
I have no idea.
It just happened.
It
Boom.
just happened. Well, I started out with their names. I chose their names that had meaning to it. Like, I just didn't want to go willy nilly on something that I thought sounded cool. I mean, I researched, and I'm that crazy, but I think consistency is one. Church was not an option. You had to go. Like, Russ is like, if you're not throwing up, you're going. Tried to be really vulnerable. I think going through a recovery program probably helped us the most, honestly, because it taught us to be vulnerable with our mistakes,
Yes.
and to show our kids, yeah, we make mistakes, but there is reconciliation, there is forgiveness, there is redemption. And so I think that's the biggest thing, and also just trying so hard not to parent afraid. When difficult questions come up of a lot of parents want to be taboo about it, especially with the younger kids. I wanted my kids to know that they were safe with any question. It didn't matter what the question was. It could be, a sexual question. It could be, a faith question. It could be a stupid question. It didn't matter what it was. My kids could come to me and I'd answer. I don't know if that's a great foundation for faith, but I think at least it gave them a foundation of, okay, mom and dad are safe. And if they're doing it this way, then I think that's okay to do it that way too. If their belief in God is this way, then maybe there's something to that. You know what I mean? We try not to be hypocritical.
Right.
So I don't know if that's a great answer or a good answer or what, but that's the one I gave.
There is no wrong answer,
Right.
okay? It's what works best for you.
Right.
That's what it is. What works best for you.
What I'm doing is, he has his little Bible and he loves it mostly because of the pictures. And we pray every night. I was just telling her this weekend that I'm going to try to start also, and we bless the food and start praying also in the mornings. And my goal, and I had left my home church for a little bit, and it was giving him a solid foundation what got me back, because I know how good the program for the children's is there. And for me, it's I want to, and I don't know how much, I'm doing what I think I know it's best. I am with you. I answer any questions. I'm like, if I don't know, let me look it up. Although the questions I get now are about animals that are weird, but they're not foundational questions. But yeah, he's all into ocean animals, and he's like, "What's that?" I don't know. But 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 for me, I want him to learn how to have a reliance on God and a prayer life. That's where my focus is. I'm sure as life goes on, I will learn new things depending on how his personality develops and life develops. But as a little tiny child, that's where I'm starting with that foundation. What about you, Em?
I think a lot of what we've done is try to be very intentional parents, with everything. Of course, obviously not always successful, but setting a good example. I want my kids to see me, studying my Bible and going to church. Even I'm very honest with my kids, and and I tell them I'm exhausted today and I really don't want to go to church, but I know I need to, and I know we're going because we need to. I don't want my kids to become adults and just be like, I don't know why church is so easy for everybody else. Why does everybody else wake up every single Sunday in a good mood? Because that's not life. That's not the way that goes. And I want them to see me, making the time to study the Bible and that sort of thing. So I try to be intentional about doing those things in front of them. And like Cindy said, just being honest in all their questions. Like it doesn't matter what it is, and as my boys have gotten older, we have had a lot of, hard discussions with questions and stuff like that. And I like that they come to me and ask me these questions. And that's what we've always told them. We're like, you ask us whatever you want, like we will answer it to the best of our ability. It doesn't matter. And I think it's helped a lot in our relationship with each other for sure, which I think also leads into their spiritual life and their relationship with the Lord, when they know that they can trust mom and dad too.
Yeah. Yep.
When my kids were growing up, my goal was to make their lives growing up better than my life growing up. I was abused as a child. I was molested as a child. And my goal was to make sure that I had a safe home for my children and that they wouldn't have fear and, they would be comfortable in their home. For years, I was obsessed with them having a better life. I want this to be better. I want that to be better. And I just realized that no matter how hard you try to give them a good foundation, when they grow up, we really have to pray for them because there's so much temptation out there that they could just go either way. But I sleep good at night knowing that I was committed to giving them a good two-parent home, Christian home, loving home. And it was hard. Wasn't easy. I had two. You got 7 and 4, 5. I had two. Sometimes I felt like 8 kids were in the house, but you do the best that you can with what you have. When you know better, you do better. And I sleep good at night knowing that I tried to be the best example that I could be for you. I gave you Jesus. You saw Jesus in our home, in our lives. Your daddy worked hard. I worked hard. One thing that I'm glad my children did see, my husband was not abusive. Because my daughter, she's 39 now, she used to brag to her friends, every time I turn around, Daddy's buying Mama something new. He's buying our house or a car or some jewelry. And, that didn't stay that way. But as she was growing up, I'm glad she had that example because she knew what to expect.
Yeah.
Pause.
There we go.
So talking about that, how do you, with the busy schedule, find time for devotion and Bible reading? I'm gonna be bluntly honest. I'm still working better. I am not consistent. I mean, like I said, we do pray every night, but I'm not consistent. I'm not. I carve moments of reading my Bible and but I'm not consistent. I'm working on getting there.
Yeah.
Right now, I probably once he gets older, I might be able to have a better schedule. But right now, I'm not consistent. I'm being honest. How about you guys?
No.
Well, it's okay.
Either one.
We're honest here.
Say, like, for me, a lot of it has come down to, in those seasons where, like, I couldn't make myself get up earlier than the kids or whatever. I just tried to make sure that, I studied with the kids then. Even if I wasn't coming prepared with something, I had, learned previously or whatever, I would just sit down and read scripture with them over, whatever I had been supposed to do in my own study time that morning. We do that a lot in the mornings or at lunch, whatever. I do prefer to get up early enough to study before the kids, but like you said, I'm not always consistent with that. Um, so I try to do it with them instead, and it also helps that I have one who every night without fail. It doesn't matter if she's been in bed half an hour. If she remembers that we did not pray before bedtime, you better believe she's right there next to our bed going, Mama, Mama, Daddy, we didn't pray. So she makes sure it gets done no matter what.
That's good. That's
so
good habit. Good habits.
Yes.
For me, I think it's just different in whatever season I was in. Right now, I try to do my own thing. I at least try to read the verse of the day and then meditate on that throughout the day. But I homeschool the youngest one, and part of her curriculum is Bible reading. She has a portion to read, and I have a portion to read to her. And so I've started using that not as my quiet time, but as a learning time for her to ask me any questions that she may have about the verse. And let me tell you, sometimes she teaches me about a verse. We were reading something about Matthew, and it was when this guy says, "Hey Jesus, I want to follow you, but let me go bury my dead." Right? Like, let me go bury my loved one. And that's what Jesus said, "Go let the dead bury their dead," or whatever. Like, and I was like, I don't know why Jesus said that, because why would he have a problem with us going to take care of this important event, right? Like, we're saying goodbye to a loved one. And she looks at it, she reads it, and she says, because if you went home, you may not want to go back out and follow him. I was like, oh,
yeah.
okay, well,
whoa.
teacher.
From the mouth of babes.
I know. She's done that before. We were talking about the Israelites, one day, and I said, the Israelites were kind of like wishy-washy with their relationship with God, and she goes, yeah, like us sometimes. And I was like, okay.
Yep. Take it easy.
But Russ and I, and the other thing is that Russ and I, we are reading a book together. We're reading a Bible study together. We don't do it every night, but we do it most nights. And, I try to gather all the kids, even the grown ones, come down to our bedroom. We're all going to pray together. And that's something that I recently started. We used to pray with them all the time, but, as they get older, that kind of goes away. So I'm trying to bring it back because Brienne's about to move out. So.
I remember when my kids were growing up, I would make sure that we read a scripture and had a prayer. Before they went to school, I wanted to set the stage for a good day at school. But when they became teenagers, they didn't want to pray. And I'm in the car with them, taking them to school or whatever. And I said, okay, you need to pray. Recite your scripture. They had to learn scripture. And now you pray. And after a while, they didn't want to pray. And that could really make you frustrated. But instead of doing that, I just prayed. And I said, well, we'll try it again tomorrow. But it was hard. It was hard, especially when you got attitudes, teenagers, stuff like that, and nobody wants to cooperate. And I'm trying to help you have a good day at school. And they're looking at me like, how you doing that? It is rough. It was rough.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. It's a balancing act between worldly values, biblical principles. How do you navigate allowing your children to enjoy life while instilling godly boundaries?
Yeah, I think it's a day by day.
It is day by day.
You've got, I think it's a little bit easier to, let's say we'll call it balancing. There's really controlling, but we'll call it balancing out. That when they're in your own home and they're still minors and they still have to listen to what you say. You know, it's a little bit easier. Not always. I think right now, because I have 2 grown children, I really just have to trust God. Just let go. Let go and let God take care of
And
things.
you know that's hard for us as mothers, right? Letting go and
Yeah, especially when you're seeing it. You know, it's like, you know, that's not what we taught you. You know, and my kids are great. I mean, they're not doing anything that is biblically wrong or anything like that. But sometimes, especially when they're on that social media or whatever, there are certain ideologies that they'll bring up, and I'm like, that's not biblical, right?
yeah.
You know. And then I have one child, who told me she's not 100% sure if the Bible is true. You know, she goes, I agree with most of it, but I think it was written in a time that no longer is relevant for us today. And, you know, my gut instinct is to argue with her back.
Right.
But I literally just literally have to be like, just bite your tongue, you know, and let God handle that. And, you know, I mean, she still goes to church, she still does that, and, you know, we have faith talks and things like that. But my concern is if she ever were to move out of the house, she would be the one to, I don't want to say walk away from God, but waver. You know, and so I know God's just, but I have to let her make her own decisions. You know, I don't want to be so legalistic. You got to do this, you got to do that, you know. But I'm learning how God handles us and parenting my children, and how God must feel when we don't obey Him. And so that's the biggest. The balancing act is letting go when you need to let go, and hold on to the horns of the altar when you need to hold on and pray.
Yes, definitely.
No, like we just, like she said, you really have to just, you know, pray and teach them everything you can, but at the same time, you know, realize that you can't control every choice they make. Um, but I do try, you know, when I'm going over the, you know, different situations or whatever it is with them, you know, tell them, you know, this isn't my opinion, you know, this is what scripture says about it,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and this is why we have, you know, as a family set these guidelines or made these choices or whatever. You know, I try really hard not to just make random decisions just because it's easier for me or it's just what I want in the moment. You know, I try to help them see that there's reason behind, you know, these guidelines, and that, you know, it's not just me, and it's not just, you know, it's not even just our family, you know, that this is what the Bible says about it, and this is why we do what we do. And then after that, all you can do is just pray that they go with it.
Lots of prayer. Lots of prayer.
Yes.
So let's dream big. If money was no object, what would be your perfect Mother's Day gift?
The trip to Korea.
Ooh.
Wow.
That would be awesome.
A trip to South Korea. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
South, not the north. South.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where your family's from, right?
My mom's Korean. My mom is Korean.
Aww.
And I'm really into K-drama. I love K-drama.
Okay.
I only watch K-drama.
Okay.
But I want to know more about the culture. And if I go though, I'm going to gain 200 pounds when I go. Because the food is amazing. But so Korea would be.
Korea. Emily?
I have probably my top 3. Could I have them all? I mean,
sure. Yeah, money's no object.
Okay, so a family trip to Turks and Caicos,
Nice.
a
Ooh.
family trip to Disney World,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
some Highland cows.
Okay. What about you?
Totally random, but that's what I would say.
Okay.
You know I don't like to travel, okay?
I didn't say you have
Oh.
to travel. What is your Mother's Day? Everybody out of the house for a week?
Everybody out of the house.
For a week?
I saw this piece on TikTok, and the man came home and said, "My doctor said I need to eliminate all my stress." So he put the wife out of the house. He put all the children out of the house. They had a brand new baby. He handed the baby to the wife. He even kicked the dog and the cat out of the house, okay? And closed the door. And I thought that was hilarious, but
Now you're
that's
thinking about it.
me. That's me. Because if I stay home with my husband, he's going to find something for me to do for him.
Yeah.
Bring me this, or
course.
can you give me this, or can you do this? And I'm like, really? I said, what if I hadn't come out the bedroom? I just wouldn't have it. Okay, well, pretend like I didn't come out the bedroom, okay? You know, it's like he just waits until when she comes out, I'm going to get her to do something. So if I could just have a day, I'll keep the dog. Yeah, Rusty's fine. I'll keep the dog, but I'll get rid of everybody else.
Did you just say
No,
dog's
see,
name?
I'm the opposite. Like, the dog's got to go too. When my son's not home, I always want to take the dog to doggy daycare. She drives me crazy.
I understand that. Yes, I got 2 dogs, and I love them to death. And there are moments I want them with me, and then other moments I don't want them near me.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Well, I don't have dogs anymore, and I'm not getting any anytime soon. I think I would love see. Yeah, I'm still in the whole I want my baby with me.
Mm.
So I would probably love a Disney cruise. He would lose his
Oh, I'm
mind.
past that.
Yeah.
He would lose his mind. See, I don't have to cook, I don't have to clean, and he'll have fun. So, and
Well,
I'll
we
have
took
fun.
him on a cruise last year.
Oh, that was
He
so
had
much
a
fun.
ball.
Aww.
He had a ball.
And you know what my best moment of the cruise was? It was not something I did. We went to a Dr. Seuss brunch.
Yes.
And when I saw his eyes light up, when he saw the characters,
Mhm.
I, the, hey,
That was
everything
it.
was worth it with the
That
world.
was it.
Just
Yeah.
seeing that
Oh,
sparkling. Yeah. So
Mhm.
that's why I would do a Disney cruise and I would be so happy.
Well, you know, it would not be a legitimate Mother's Day podcast if we didn't have the kids in the background.
Right. Oh my
yeah.
God.
I mean, that's just on
Is that
cue.
you,
I
baby,
wondered
over
if you could
there?
hear her in there. Yeah.
Somebody is
Yeah.
not happy.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm
But that's
I'm
what we
not sure
do.
if the iPad died or if someone took something away from her. One or the other.
That's why the
Yeah.
podcast is called Motherhood, a 25-hour job.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
Yes.
it never ends. It
Yes.
And I'm
never ends.
currently sitting in the driveway of my home right now. And
I noticed that. I'm
Actually,
like,
I
she's
can
in
see
the park.
that.
Is that your place
I was
of
going
peace?
to. Probably should have.
dogs. Dogs. We got a boxer mix, and she's pretty hyper. So I was like, I can't do it in the house.
Better than the kids. It's the dog.
Sitting with the kids.
Yeah. Well, ladies, I am so grateful that we did this.
Thank you so much.
This was so much fun.
Yes, it
I
was.
am very appreciative that we were able to have this time together and laugh and share
Yes. Yes.
our struggles and our moments of levity that were not levity at the time they happened. We can laugh about ourselves and
Yeah.
Oh,
tell the other moms out there you're not alone.
Yeah.
No, the journey is
Mm-mm.
for all of us.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
So
definitely not
I
alone.
Yeah, so I wish you a very happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't have
Yes.
all the money in the world to make your dreams happen, but the wish is out
Hard.
there.
A girl can dream,
And
can't she?
that part is free.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Thank you so
So
much. It was so much fun, inspiring, and we wish you the best blessed Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Okay, that whatever you want,
Thank you.
your family gives it to you. Okay,
I doubt you're going to get how anything else.
but she may get to go to South Korea.
Yes,
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
ladies.
you. Have
God
a good
bless
day,
you
guys.
both.
Thank you.
Thank you. We want to give a heartfelt thank you to our amazing guests for sharing their stories, their insights, and their wisdom with us today. Motherhood truly is a journey like no other, filled with ups, downs, and countless moments of grace.
To all the mothers in our audience, may your day be filled with love, laughter, and the deep sense of fulfillment that comes from being a mom.
Happy Mother's Day from all of us at Thrive.
Have a happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Bye-bye.